first and foremost, before we go straight to some very critical issues, let me quickly say this. Now, Emir of Kano was dethroned. Sorry. That matter raised an eyebrow. Now, it was of all kings in Nigeria, that major bloggers decided to choose the Oba of Benin to explain the situation of Emir of Kano being dethroned. The reason, a lot of people were saying that there are no basis for comparison. I tried to tell them that most of these bloggers were not trying to compare. They were just trying to say that there is a king, the past king. It was not comparison. I don't think any of the bloggers were trying to compare the Oba of Benin with the Emir of Kano. No, that was not most of their intention. The intention was just trying to let the general populace understand that not all kings in Nigeria can be dethroned, and these are fundamental issues. No, some people were very envious of the fact that of all the kings in Nigeria, how come now the Oba of Benin and the country they used to, they make examples, say they're not dethrone them. Understand? So they were trying to raise a lot of eyebrows. It really pained, most especially our Yoruba people, it pained him because you cannot bring Oni. We have a whole lot of about how many Onis? About 2? Is it 2 Onis that were dethroned? Aside Modakeke people on 2 occasions pursuing Oni from Ife on 2 occasions. So one I can remember one. I think one was about in 1945 or thereabout, where they went to hide in Okeigbo in present-day Ondo State. Modakeke people, the Ife Modakeke people. They couldn't also present a laughing because we also are aware how Bafemi Awolowo dethroned the present Alafin's father. The present Alafin's father. I think Adeyemi was Alafin there. Aderemi was Oni. They were both dethroned. Now, coronavirus. I'm trying to give you guys an historical. So I gave about, was it 16 minutes? I gave 16 minutes or 24 minutes. I can't really remember. I gave about 16 minutes detailed explanation why the Oba of Benin cannot be dethroned. I gave. It's logic. It's logic. See, and I'm usually very careful. The word, how I put it, I will say this: that it's not as if any state governor empowered by the Constitution do not have the power to dethrone any king in Nigeria, including the Oba of Benin. But I said only that the institution of the Benin monarch is undethronable. But he that kind of ita. So I try to give an historical lockdown. Now, the British colonial rule couldn't have been as perfect as Benin native laws, because we had existed, our laws of land had existed for this long. We had existed for this long as a people. Our laws of our land had existed for far too long, that the British government or British system of government is younger than the Benin system of government. So the Benin system of government is near perfection. It has survived the vicissitudes of life for over 2,000 years of its existence. So, and the type of our monarchy evolved from different type of government to another. It is as a result of that, that It's as a result of that, we must understand that the types of kingship in Benin has evolved for centuries, and that has shared the monarchy from dethronement. First and foremost, the first type of government that we practiced was a gerontocratic government. It called John Way. At a point in time, it was a councils of elders of the land presiding over the affairs of the land. In my I don't think that one is gerontocracy that some few selected. Is it aristocracy, the government where few people presides over the larger people? I think that's aristocracy. I can't remember the type of government, but the first government that Benin ever practiced was a government of few elders presiding over the affairs of the entire kingdom. After which the processes evolved. One of them, Una eventually became the first recognized monarch. Una became the first recognized monarch. When Igbodo came in, we moved into a practice of primogeniture. The Benin started to have a practice, the primogeniture type of government where father to son. So that one lasted for about 3 reigns. After Igbodo, his grandson, after Orire. After Orire had no son. So Uhurena Laibo, you understand, he had no son. So about 485 years interregnum, then the Benin came back together and said, let's return back to the way we were before primogeniture. They returned back to gerontocracy. Gerontocracy became the part of the government for 18 reigns by 19 kings, Ogisos. Then the last was Ediaye, obviously Oriagba. Oriagba now instituted that we should fall back again to primogeniture. First surviving son or next of kin becomes the Oba. That's where the first act was promulgated about hereditary. Oriagba promulgated that act. Then after which they started and got to walk all through. If the present Oba does not have a son, it falls back to the nest of kin and all that. And eventually got to the time of Oba Ohen. Oba Ohen now evolved another government. The kind of a government Oba Ohen evolved that all his 4 children must become an Oba, a rotational, a sort of a first line type of a government. All right, where all the sons of the Obas must all become the Oba. Oba and 4 sons, Egbeka, Rubiru, Waifyokun, Ogun, they all became Oba of Benin. Then when it got to Ogun, Oba, his all 3 sons also became Oba of Benin. Ezoti, Olua, Ozolwa. Alright? Now, it was always like that until after Ozolwa, you now had Esigi. After Esigi, you have Orogboa. After Orogboa, you have a Hengbuda Noble. After Hengbuda Noble, you now have Ohwa. Then Ohwa had no child as well. So now that means the law of the primogenition came to an halt again. Alright? Now, how many type of government the Benins have practiced? 4 types already. Then now they now started a rotational government, a rotational system of government where it will be rotated amongst the royal houses of Benin, just like what is applicable to Oni, just like what is applicable to Alafin, just like what is also applicable to Western countries like Saudi Arabia, where the kingship is rotated amongst the ruling houses. All right. So that reign lasted for 7 kings, 6 reigns. Ahenzaye, Akenzai, Ahenkbaye, Akenkbedu, Akenkboyi, Oriogene, then Ewakbe. 7 kings, 6 reigns. All right. It was rotated amongst them. So when it now got to Ewakbe now pleaded. Another second law, promulgated act of hereditary, was signed, and that act is called Alatoro, the Act of Alatoro. I don't want to go. Maybe some other day we'll talk about what Olatoro means, or Atoro, the Act of Atoro. That was a promulgated act that was exacted by Ewakbe, where it was stated that it is express primogenition, father to first surviving son. So that is how it has been till date. Now you must understand, 5 types of government, 5 different types of government has been experienced in Benin. We choose, in all of this, we have tested 5 types of government for over a period of 2,000 years, and we understood in all this type, the best is primogeniture. Now, choosing primogeniture makes it easier, makes it unpenetrable for the Oba of Benin to be dethroned. Obviously, it's not far from the truth. Why? It can't be dethroned. If you dethrone the Oba of Benin, who becomes the next Oba of Benin? So that's why I can't dethrone the Oba of Benin. Anyway, having said that, I just wanted to quickly run through that, why it is practically impossible for anybody conceiving outside the spiritual implication. We are not even talking about the spiritual implication of what will happen to whoever want to conceive that idea, blah 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 blah. I'm just saying whether there is a spiritual implication, there is no spiritual implication, well, it's just undoable. The only clause that I said before now was, except the Benin monarch or the Benin people or the councils of the chiefs of the Benin decided that let's change the type of monarchical government practiced by the Benin people. If that primogenition monarchical government is not changed, then the Oba of Benin is undethronable. I have explained that. So if you say you want to dethrone the Oba to be replaced by who? It is not a politically instituted monarch. It is traditionally instituted. It has been there for hundreds of years. 2057 years precisely. 2057 years. Almost about 800 years older than the British government themselves. So we're talking about an institution older than the British government. And now we're using, it's more like the British system of government that we're using here. And I just said Egyawu. I'm just saying Egyawu. So we're not talking about the Agbina. Mm-hmm.